I've got a question, Ross. What's your favorite pattern, if you have one,
I don't have a favorite pattern. It
or one
depends.
that comes to mind?
I'll tell you a good one that's worked 100% for me, converting. I converted two friends who are like sisters to me, who I'd known for 6 years with this one pattern. I'm going to give it away because I love ice. He's been good to me and you're my friend, and I'm going to give it away. Here it goes. So these two women for 6 years were not attracted to me. Converted them like that. So I met him for coffee, and I always sit side by side or kitty corner. It's very important because I want to be able to reach out and touch them. And I made small talk and fluff talk and, asked, how's your life going? What's going on? I said, are you a people watcher? And this time I've known you, I've never asked you this question. And of course, they both said yes. This was at separate times. They weren't together with me. And I said, you know, a week or so ago, I was sitting right here, and right over that table over there. There's a couple, and you could tell they were on a very bad first date. Now, right then, I'm setting up a story, and it's the topic women are interested in, which is everyone is interested in other people's failures, particularly romantically. It makes you feel better. And so I said, they were obviously on a bad date. Debbie, they weren't able to, no, one's name is Christine, and the other one's name is Jennifer. And I said, they obviously weren't able to feel this incredible connection. They weren't able to feel that click right there. Those butterflies that can allow a person to have certain thoughts. That just wasn't happening right now. But instead, you could see her body language was closed. Occasionally, she checked her phone, and he was trying so hard, but getting nowhere. And all of a sudden, everything changed. And I paused. And what response does that get? They want to know what changed. I said, all of a sudden, and I could hardly believe it. He reaches over and he just rubs the back of her neck like this. Now, you saw me do this at my London seminar with Charlotte, as a matter of fact. She had
Mm-hmm.
passed a note that
Some
someone,
video.
she had passed a note to someone that said, I don't fancy him. I don't know if you know that. She passed that note to somebody.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
and then
didn't
I
know.
did this thing with her. It rubbed the back of it's a huge turn on to women. And then he leaned over and he whispered something in her ear. And all of a sudden she's all over him, Jen. She's macking on him, and I don't know what was going on. She gets up to go to the bathroom. I walk over to the guy and I said, first of all, dude, you're my hero, but you got to tell me, what did you whisper in her ear? And I'm doing this to Christine or Jen as I'm describing it. And he said, and now I'm using quotes. I'm quoting inside of a story. So it's double quotes. Uh, well, I just leaned in her ear, and then I leaned into Jen's ear and I whispered, can you imagine that special growing tension just before that first soft electric brush of the lips and all the things we'll do to each other when we're finally all alone? I mean, did he really expect her to imagine that and take action on it, Jen? And then they left hand in hand. She came back from the bathroom and they left arm in arm. And I can only imagine what they did, Jen. And that turned it around completely. One of them invited me back to her place, and the other one, we had a tremendous makeout at my car, and then we later went back to my place. That converted two girls who were friends of mine for 6 years. And both of them said, I thought we'd be friends for life. The other one said, I don't know why I was so turned on. You're not my type. You're still not my type. So that's the best. That's the shortest, most effective get out of the friend zone pattern I know.
Hmm.
Are
Also,
you slightly
interesting.
removing yourself as well from that pattern?
Yes.
Because
Yes,
yeah, yeah,
because I'm
yeah,
telling a story
yeah.
about,
With a
you know
quote in, a
what, you
double
know what they
remove.
both said? Both said, I could feel your lips brushing my ear slightly and your breath against my neck. Because I'm telling the story, I'm whispering in their ear,
Yeah.
but just enough so my lips brush their earlobes.
Plausible
Yeah, it's
deniability
great.
too.
Plausible deniability.
Yeah.
I've got one, or a couple similar where you're using the excuse as well to brush the ear behind the ear or the back of the neck. And I think that's so powerful because, you're justifying it as well within the story. And one of them is the second part is I've got this three criteria that I normally like in a woman, but I can only tell you if you're open-minded and friendly. Are you? And she says yes. Right. So the first is I don't like girls that wear too much makeup. If you
Yep.
put a kiss here and it leaves a lipstick mark, you're obviously wearing too much. So she'll kiss there. And then you go, the second is, and this is where it comes in. The second one is I love girls with lush smelling hair. And then I'll lean in because normally then they'll offer
Oh,
because they're still qualifying themselves. And I'll lean in, I'll rub my thumb behind the ear and maybe touch the back of the neck, as Ross says. And then I'll smell close. And I remember you said to add this because I taught this one on stage at your seminar once or twice maybe, and and you said add that noise in to get a bit of a vocal near the ear, so that rings true to what you said earlier. And then I'll pull my cheek slowly away like that, and I'll look at the eyes, triangle gaze, look at the lips, and if I feel I'm getting the signs, I will say I must, and then I'll go 90% in, she goes 10% in. So what I must have incorporated from NLP and speed seduction is to be doing
that's
this.
deadly, brushing that. I have
Yeah,
to you take over.
no worries. And then there's a third and a fourth and so on. But what you're doing is you're giving reasons why you're doing it. But to remove yourself, something I would say is I was just chatting to my friend Alison over there, and we were discussing, is it better to be wanted or needed or whatever I'm doing? We were discussing, and then use your insert opener there, whatever your opener is. But the pre bit is false time constraint. I can only stay a moment. Social proof. I was chatting to my friend Alison over there, point over there, misdirect for a moment, and then back. And we were discussing, and then say it. So you're not out and out asking the question to
It's
them
like a game
anyway.
of DHV bingo. Imagine if we made a DHV bingo card. We just
Yeah.
have like a
Ding, ding, ding,
tw
ding, 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 ding.
25 5x5 DHVs. Like you got this one, this one, this one.
Yeah,
Damn, that's
yeah.
a formula right there. I should fucking
I'm
make that.
trying to say as much stuff in the shortest possible of time before they speak next to get that set to open smoothly and
Mm.
and have interest immediately, if possible. Sometimes it takes a bit more time and so on, but I'm trying to get in, boom. And it's really good for cold approach. So I'm not waiting for a warm approach or an IOI unless I'm forcing one. I'm going in and I'm false time constraint. I can only stay a moment, social proof. And then I'll be running into that pattern I told you earlier about 5 or 10 minutes in to get kinesthetic in touch.
Back to the friends thing. I think I'm just so fascinated by the power of frames, frame control, reframing, like anything about frames. Um, University, for example, I went to university in London, and there was a time when the girl sitting next to me, the girl sitting in front of me, the girl sitting in front of her, and the girl sitting in front of her had all at some point slept with me. And back to the point I'm trying to make, they were friends. So my way of thinking about this, which again comes back to how you language things, determining uh, how things work out for you, to put it basically. Um, I never saw friends as like a label. I'm a very no label kind of guy. So you're simply a man, she's simply a woman, and you have a friendship. And whenever, for example, a close female friend had some objection, not objection, but she would say something like, I think this would ruin our friendship once
Right.
things become sexual. My key fucking sentence for this is so fucking good. It's something along the lines of this. I want you to understand that we will always be friends at the very least. No, no, no. Here it is. Let me start again. I want you to understand that no matter what happens, we will always be friends at the very least. So it's putting in
I
the
love that.
box, there's like a level of what your relationship is. No matter what happens, if you become my girlfriend, that's okay. If you become my fuck buddy, that's okay. But no matter what happens, you'll never go lower than this. So
I
you could
love that.
be uh,
Brilliant.
a regular fuck buddy. We can do it once, whatever. But we will always be fucking friends. We or basically, if you want to take the labels out of it, just for you guys to think about it, remove the friendship label and just think you'll always be on good terms. That's really what it means. It's not about the label. It's just that no matter what happens, our friendship cannot be ruined
I would
because
even
I'm
add,
okay with anything.
I would even say, look into your heart and see how easily you recognize we will always be friends at the very least. That's even, but that's brilliant.
Mm, wonderful.
Sorry, I'm having a camera issue. Carry on without me for the moment.